Welcome back. Let's go to Ondo State now, where there's effectively a change of guard in that southwest state following the sad passing of the governor of the state, Rotimi Akeredolu, who died earlier in the week after battling cancer for a long time. His deputy, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has since been sworn in as governor. And in the immediate aftermath of the death of Akeredolu, many of his political aides hurriedly tendered their resignation letters, citing their loyalty to him. More resignations are likely to follow in the coming days. Now, the road to Aiyedatiwa's governorship was fraught with challenges as the state was thrown into political upheaval after Governor Akeredolu embarked on a medical leave which he never returned from. Now, controversy had enveloped the state's politics now in the last few months, with activists and constitutional lawyers calling on the late Akeredolu to transmit power to Aiyedatiwa in line with the 1999 Constitution. The late governor later did that after the intervention of President Bola Tinubu. Now, succeeding the late governor who died of prostate cancer, Aiyedatiwa has pledged to usher in and organize and improve administration for the people of the state. The new governor also assured the people of the state that his administration would continue to promote good governance. But then, with governorship election scheduled for November 2024 in the state and Aiyedatiwa clearly interested in running, the question is, will the new governor really get down to governance without being distracted by the coming election? His party primary is due in February, and so you can expect serious political jostling now for the governorship ticket between now and that time. Somehow, it's difficult to see how real governance will not be relegated to the background now under this circumstance. But we'll just wait and see what happens. Joining me now to discuss all of this is Olufemi Lawson, who is the Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability. Femi, thank you very much for coming on the program. With what has happened now, let me start from that point. With this latest development, which is more like a force majeure, I'm talking about the death of Akeredolu, it means your case in court will have to be withdrawn. Is that the case?
Definitely, just like you rightly said, the basis of that litigation between our group and, of course, the Ondo State Assembly and others joined in the suit, including the late Governor Akeredolu, was to ascertain, the true state of health of late Governor Akeredolu, because for 6 months, the governor was nowhere to be seen in the state, and unfortunately, he lost the battle to that protracted illness. Very sad and unfortunate. And in that regard, of course, the issue of where Governor Akeredolu is, which was the essence of our going to court, has been resolved by nature.
Now, Lucky Aiyedatiwa is the governor. He's been sworn in. I mean, this is a man who faced a lot of battle. At some point, he was facing the threat of removal when the lawmakers dangled that impeachment threat at him now. But all of that in the past, he is now the governor of the state. And you think, even though he's promised that he's going to bring about good governance, you look at the coming governorship election in that state, the primary that I alluded to in my intro, you don't think all of this will be a serious distraction for him, especially when you consider the fact that there are quite a number of people too who are angling for that position or for the ticket?
Well, thank you. Yeah, there is every tendency for political distractions to set in. But going by what the people of Ondo State actually desire, especially when you look at the fact that for nearly 1 year, there have practically been absence of leadership in the state. Governance has practically been on holiday because even while, he was the deputy, he was never allowed to act in place of his principal then, late Governor Akeredolu. So I think majorly, irrespective of what the political ambition of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa may look like at present, I think what must be the priority of the governor is to provide leadership for the people of the state, because this has been lacking for nearly 1 year. He must be able to immediately address issues of the welfare of our people, infrastructural deficit. You must understand that there is a budget which year is just running out, and he has also, within the days that he became the acting governor, presented a budget for 2024 to the State House of Assembly. So these are not exercises that are focused on political activities or elections. Governance must not go on holiday. The first priority of the governor must be the interest of the people before whatever his ambition is will take its place. But I believe strongly that learning from what has happened in the past few months, Governor Aiyedatiwa would be willing to commit himself more to issues of governance in Ondo State more than politics.
Now, we can't deny the fact that, look, there's a big political quarrel in the state within the APC. You saw the way quite a number of the commissioners and aides of the late governor resigned. Immediately his death was announced. And even within the cabinet, there's still a problem. But how do you expect him to handle things, especially with the cabinet, a cabinet that was fractured when he was acting governor and deputy governor?
Yes, of course, he may not have had the capacity to do anything with most of the characters who were part of the State Executive Council and other structures of government during the tenure of late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. But the truth is, it's now the substantive governor of Ondo State, and it is within the powers of the governor's prerogative to appoint whosoever he deems qualified and fit enough to work with him as the governor of Ondo State. It will not be based on sentiment. It will not be based on some of those factors that limited him while Governor Akeredolu was still the governor. Now, because what is important is how can he work to deliver the mandate of the expectation of our people in Ondo State. And that can only be achieved when he has people who he believes can form a formidable team that can work with him. So every sentiment about the past have to be dropped. And like you can see, a lot of them are already resigning because in their conscience, they may not be able to work with Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. But I strongly believe that there must be a new team of players that will work with him. They may not necessarily be totally new people. They may have been people who have worked with him while he was deputy governor in the same ESCO with late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. But most importantly, the governor must use the powers that has been vested on him by the law of the land to bring people who will work with him to promote good governance in Ondo State beyond every sentiment of the past.
And finally, how do you think he should navigate this potential, if you like, call it political banana peel now? Because if he goes on a sacking spree, it might have consequences for him politically. And if he chooses not to do anything and keep those who have been really after his job, there will also be political consequences. How does he navigate that?
Well, from my little experience of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, I don't think he's such a juvenile politician. He has been in the game of politics. He has contested as a representative position. He has represented Ondo State on boards of commissions. And he has, of course, been a successful businessman who have run, series of businesses successfully in the past. I want to strongly believe that for somebody who have risen through the rank to become the governor, he will be politically conscious enough, experienced enough to navigate the very turbulent water of politics that he will be faced with in the coming days. But I believe he has an added advantage now, being the governor, especially when you look at the dynamics of our politics in Nigeria, where the governors are so influential in the decisions of their political party and the administration of their various interests across the state. So I believe Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa will be careful enough, and he has, enjoyed a lot of goodwill from people both within and outside his party. And I think that will be enough to guide him through this process, if at all he is interested in going beyond his current position as the governor of Ondo State to recontest future elections in the state.
Do you think there's enough time for him to actually prove to the people of Ondo State that, look, he's capable, he can deliver good governance? Do you think there's enough time for him when you consider that elections will be taking place in November and then the primaries will be taking place February?
The primary will be taking place actually in April,
Okay,
And between now and November that the election will be taking place, that's about some 11 months. I think it's a good time enough for any, committed person to address issues that have direct impact on the people that he is governing. And I want to strongly believe that he will take advantage of the lessons that has been learned throughout the period he was deputy to late Governor Akeredolu, the vision that they were both driving before the unfortunate demise of Governor Akeredolu. And these are going to be the key issues that will, of course, determine his success or otherwise as governor of Ondo State first for the next 14 months. And if he decides to throw his hat into the race, then if re-elected, it will be an added advantage for him.
Olufemi Lawson, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you for talking to us yet again.
My pleasure.
Well, that's how much we can take on the program this week. We thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. And then, Happy New Year. Bye-bye.